You know, our golf course is ready. St. Charles is ready for both of our Ross and Mackenzie Nines, and in the future our Woods Nine, to be revitalized and renovated. And the first on the docket is our Mackenzie Nine, and I think that this is going to be an elevation to the member experience here that I don't think any of us, even myself or Braydon or any of our staff or any of our members who have been involved in this committee, truly understand how special the experience is going to be on our golf course when it is fully renovated. It's been a very long time since our bunkers were touched, since our greens were really looked at, since our irrigation was done, and all of these things are vital to presenting a premier private club experience.
Well, it's funny, people ask me all the time, what attracted you to come to St. Charles? What was the important features of the design and the architecture? And one of the things that I thought was most important was that Alister MacKenzie actually came to Winnipeg. There's no other Mackenzie golf course in Canada. He had come to Winnipeg, traveling on the train, playing in a senior amateur, stops and says, I can help you out. And I thought that that was interesting, that he would come here, practice his architecture, and then leave to go down to California, to the East Coast, South America, Europe. But for 1 year of his life, Winnipeg, Manitoba was the most important thing. He talks about blending golf with nature, and that any architect worth his grain of salt would blend architecture into its natural surroundings. What people will notice is the artistry of his designs, the bunker placements of his designs, the green contours of his designs, how he managed to get a routing into 55 or 56 acres on the north side of your property, and how many architects can't do that. The little things that we talked about out in the field, the game of inches, the heights of the bunkers, the positioning of the bunkers, the expansions of the greens, the horizon lines that we're trying to reach. But really, some people, all they do is they care about the score and how fun the walk was and the friends that they're playing golf with. But my job, Mackenzie's job, was to give you that experience that you know you're somewhere different, but yet you don't understand why it's so different. And we were about to bring that back to St. Charles Club, and that's the fun part for me. And if some people don't understand what we did, but enjoy the walk, enjoy the artistry, enjoy the beauty, then we have fulfilled Mackenzie's legacy.
We're going to start with the renovation of the Mackenzie Nine. That project, as well as the Ross Nine the following year, includes returfing or regrassing of our tees, fairways, and greens. It includes a complete renovation of every bunker on the property, the addition of a couple bunkers, and the removal of a few bunkers, all bringing them back to the architect's original intention. It will include a brand new irrigation system that provides our agronomy team with a much greater tool to be more precise and specific with their watering. There is an element of water conservation to that, but more importantly, there's an element of watering the right places at the right time and not over-watering other components of the golf course to really give us the best chance to provide the best possible turf conditions.
There's two components of this project for us. There's a mechanical, technical infrastructure component, and then the architecture component, and they tie in together a lot. Right now, the bulk of our irrigation system is nearing its 50th anniversary. So what you're going to see is a modern system with new high-density polyethylene plastic piping that's much more resistant to breaks. The most important thing you're going to see is the ability for myself or the staff to control every single sprinkler head on the golf course individually and to set run times or set amounts of water to come out of every single head individually. Whereas right now, the way the system's set up, we control groups or blocks of sprinklers of anywhere from 4 to 8 sprinklers on fairways or tees. So we're going to have way more control, and what you're going to see is more consistent conditions tee through green and less dry spots and wet spots that we get right now, especially during a year where it's been dry and you're running the system every night. And when you don't have that control, you start to get that disparity there. For example, we'll be able to make changes to the irrigation system on an iPad on the fly rather than scratching out a whole bunch of notes in a notebook and then driving back to my office and making the adjustments in the computer at the end of the day. So we can just be driving the golf course, see a spot that's just getting a little bit too much water, and go right into the iPad and back that spot off on its overnight watering cycle.
You know, walking around the golf course with Jim, it is amazing to see the detail that he looks at each green, each hole, each fairway, the way our mowing patterns are, each tree. Jim's ability to see the small details on the golf course that ultimately all add up to the golfer experience is what the difference is between good golf experiences and great golf experiences.
From the very first day I came here, I know that you probably remember this, I know Braydon remembers it, I know the committee remembers it. I was excited to stand on the tee and I said, well, this bunker should look like this, and this should look like this, and the green should look like this, and they should overlap like this. It's been lost. And every golf course goes through that. They have an evolution. And I have to bring back what was changed by other committees, what nature does every day, mowing, maintaining, people playing it, just bringing it back. And when I looked at the original routing that Mackenzie had laid out for the North 9 at St. Charles, when I saw the dog leg in there, I thought, this is not right. This is different than what I had expected. And so I realized that they had tucked the green into the corner to give the hole a little different length, a little different look. But I thought, and I knew that the green in its original location, up on the knob, close to the 4th tee, was really the place that it should be. People will say that hole, particularly the 3rd hole, that it won't be as good. But I think the green location, I think the style of bunkering, I think the presentation of the fairways will give every member a chance to enjoy Alister MacKenzie original design. I thought, man, I know what this is supposed to look like. I hope they let me do that.
Number one, your visuals are going to change. The bunkers are going to take on a much more dramatic, intimidating, impactful look on the golf course. We are not narrowing the fairways. We are not making the playability of the golf course any more difficult, but to the golfer, it's going to appear to be more difficult. It's going to be more intimidating, and the bunkers will have a little bit of more of a bite or a fierceness to them, although to play out of them will pretty much be exactly the same as in the past. From a strategy perspective, the way that Jim is, he talks about aligning the bunkers and the camouflage that Mackenzie intended to bring to all the golf courses. There will certainly be tee shots where it looks like there's less fairway to deal with, or that's available to you, which will again play into the psyche of the golfer. And that's what makes golf so entertaining. Is if it wasn't for camouflage and it wasn't for well-positioned bunkers and for this making golf fun, we would all just simply play golf in a wide open field, right? Which at times may be entertaining, but we need more if we're going to play a golf course every single day or multiple times. And so the repositioning of bunkers, the expansion of greens, all of these things will change in little or big ways the strategy and the entertainment factor on the golf course.
The advantage of going to what's called a monostand of bent grass varieties throughout is we're going to get a more consistent playing surface. Bent grass is also a much more resilient plant. It's much more able to withstand winter weather, either low temperatures or ice encasement, or tough weather in the summer, which is usually hot or dry. So it's got a lot better threshold to tolerate those stresses than our current turf mix does. So you'll see a much more consistent product than you do right now. You're going to have a very similar lie throughout the entire fairway.
Believe it or not, architecture, especially Mackenzie, and the way he positioned his bunkers and the way he positioned the greens, was all about positioning in the fairway. Now, not all of us have that opportunity to place the ball wherever we want to place it, but we've learned to play the game and where we need to hit. And when people say, well, what are you changing? Well, we're not changing, we're just bringing back strategy. We're bringing back reward, and we're putting in risk. That's the genius of Alister MacKenzie's designs. Every hole is different. Position A on the left, position B in the middle, position C on the right. And each one of those has a risk and has a reward, and that's what we're going to bring back to St. Charles.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm not even sure that everybody grasps how great it's going to be and how much runway there is to sort of improve. And when you see the level of detail that he's talking about when he's going over with the shapers or with the other contractors that are going to be doing the work, it's all those little details that are going to make an incredible golf experience. I think it's one of those things that sounds really simple, just to sort of dig a hole in the ground and add some capes and bays and make it kind of throw some sand in it and call it a bunker. But when you see the attention and level of thought that he puts into every single bunker on the property or greens expansion or anything else he's doing, it's pretty incredible.
And when I get a chance to work on, to see, and to restore, I'm happy to tell people that, yeah, I'm going to Winnipeg. We're going to restore the only 9-hole golf course that Mackenzie ever did in Canada. That's quite a feat. And for you to have that is like in having a Rembrandt in your house and letting people come over and see it. It's just special in the world of architecture for me. And for the people of Winnipeg, they should be proud that at one point in time in Alister MacKenzie's life, he took that time to come here to give you something that's cool and entertaining and special and fun, and we get a chance to restore it.
I think that our members will instill themselves a pride as into who we've selected to undertake this, I would say, historic renovation of what is a 117-year-old golf course at this time, and bring it back to what each of these amazing and very talented architects intended to have for our property. This is a giant step for St. Charles to continue to offer its members a premier golf experience in what I feel is in Canada and in North America.